Welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever thought about why, for some people who cross-dress, what might start small, maybe just one or two items, often grows into something more, like a desire for a really complete transformation?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking at today is this really interesting progression.
And that's our focus, exploring this journey, this deepening desire for a full female presentation.
Right. And we're drawing on this insightful article from Classy Crossdresser, Why Partial Crossdressing May Not Be Enough. It really gets you thinking about, well, the motivations behind it all and the different levels of satisfaction.
So our mission here is to try and understand why that happens. Why go from maybe just underwear or stockings to the whole ensemble? What's that telling us about identity, self-expression?
Exactly. And the article kicks off with this idea that partial dressing,
Mm.
it can often feel, well, incomplete.
Incomplete, yeah. Like an unfinished painting is the analogy they use. Something's just missing.
And it suggests that striving for that full transformation, it's about achieving a more holistic feeling, a more natural expression of femininity, maybe.
Right, because the partial approach gives you a glimpse, a hint, but maybe not the full satisfaction.
It doesn't quite create that immersive experience that many seem to be looking for.
It's like you hear the opening notes of a song you love, but it cuts off before the best part. You get that initial, maybe exciting feeling.
Yeah, that endorphin rush the article mentions. It can be thrilling at first.
Well, maybe that initial thrill fades, right? And then there's this deeper wanting, which leads us to something pretty fundamental, how we actually see ourselves.
Visual self-perception. That's a huge piece of this.
Yeah.
The article makes a really good point here.
What's that?
Well, it suggests that looking in the mirror and seeing this sort of mix, male and female elements together, that can actually be quite jarring for some. Our brains kind of like things to line up, right? So if you feel feminine inside, but the reflection is showing a mismatch, that creates tension.
Okay, I get that. A disconnect. You feel one way, but the image staring back doesn't quite align.
Precisely. And the argument is that a full female presentation allows the mind to go, okay, this matches. It registers a completely feminine identity.
So it bridges that gap between the internal feeling and the external appearance.
Yeah, and that bridge brings a sense of authenticity, of things finally clicking into place. It aligns the inner and outer worlds.
That makes sense. That need for alignment feels pretty universal, actually.
It really does. And for many cross-dressers, achieving that full look is the way they find that psychological comfort, that validation.
Now, the article also brings up gender dysphoria and gender euphoria. We should probably clarify those terms a bit.
Good idea. It's really important to state up front. Not everyone who cross-dresses experiences gender dysphoria.
Right. Dysphoria being that feeling of distress or discomfort when your assigned sex doesn't match your gender identity.
Exactly. People cross-dress for lots of different reasons, but the article does note that for individuals who do experience dysphoria, partial dressing might only provide, like, temporary relief. It doesn't necessarily address the deeper issue.
Okay, so it's a Band-Aid maybe, not the full solution for them.
Perhaps. But then it contrasts this with gender euphoria.
Ah, yes, the opposite feeling, that real joy, that sense of rightness when your appearance does align with your inner self.
Exactly. And the article suggests this euphoria is often much stronger, much more complete with the full transformation.
Why do you think that is?
Well, maybe it's linked to how our brains process reward and self-acceptance. Seeing that complete congruent image might trigger a stronger positive response, reinforcing that feeling of, this is me.
And this ties into something else the article really stresses, the sensory and emotional side of things.
Oh, definitely. It's not just about what you see in the mirror. It's much more embodied than that.
Embodied? Like how?
Well, think about it. The actual feel of different fabrics, silk, satin, lace against your skin, the way makeup feels, how it changes your face, even the sound, the click of heels on the floor.
Right, right. Those sensory details, they all add up.
Absolutely. And the article contrasts, say, just wearing lingerie, which has its own sensation, sure, with the whole package, the dress, the wig, the makeup, the shoes, the accessories. It creates a much deeper level of immersion.
So it's the cumulative effect of all those sensory inputs. It's not just seeing it, it's feeling it, hearing it, living it more fully.
Exactly. A much richer multi-sensory experience.
Okay, and then there's the social dimension. The article talks about validation from others.
Yes, that's another key element. This desire for many to not just see themselves as female, but to be perceived that way by other people.
Even if it's just within certain contexts, like online or specific events.
Right? It tapped into that basic human need for social affirmation, doesn't it? When how you present yourself is seen and acknowledged positively by others, it really bolsters your sense of self, your belonging.
And the article mentions passing, too, the idea of being accepted as female out in public.
hmm For those who do go out, achieving a convincing look can be really important for confidence. It allows for more authentic interactions, maybe reduces anxiety about negative attention.
So that external validation reinforces the internal feeling and makes it feel more real.
It absolutely can. When the world reflects back the identity you feel inside, it's incredibly powerful, very affirming.
The article also talks about cross-dressing as a form of escapism, emotional release,
Yeah, and it suggests that a full transformation offers a more complete escape.
more complete than partial dressing. How so?
Well, think back to that feeling of being in between that the article mentions with partial dressing. If you're feeling stuck between identities,
Yeah.
then fully stepping into the feminine persona allows for a more total detachment from, daily stresses, societal pressures, the usual routine.
Like fully inhabiting a different role for a while. The more complete the costume, the deeper the immersion in the role.
Exactly. And that immersion can be really cathartic, therapeutic even, offering genuine relief and, well, joy.
Which brings us, I think, to the core idea the article keeps circling back to, authenticity.
Yes, that fundamental need to express a true part of yourself, perhaps a part that's usually hidden.
And the argument is that partial dressing, for some, might feel like holding back, like not quite letting that true self fully emerge.
Whereas the full transformation is seen as honoring that authentic self without compromise. No halfway measures.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, the main takeaway seems to be that this progression towards fully embodying a female image is pretty common, and it's driven by a deep-seated need for greater satisfaction and authenticity.
Yeah, it's far more than just clothes. It's about aligning the inner self with the outer presentation for a whole host of complex psychological and emotional reasons.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe for you, the listener, to ponder. What does this pursuit of a complete image, this desire for wholeness and presentation, tell us about identity and self-expression more broadly, beyond just cross-dressing?
That's a great question. Does that drive for wholeness, for internal and external alignment, echo in other parts of our lives?